As we turn the lights back on, and please welcome your host for this Q&A, Aaron Moot, the host of our Eerie Horror Fest podcast and Eerie Horror Fest volunteer extraordinaire.
Thank you, Amy. I appreciate you very much. What did we think of Hard Eyes, everybody? I would be so concerned if nobody clapped or gave any response to that. Thank you so much for coming to the Eerie Horror Fest this year. It means so much to everybody on our team. We worked really hard to put this event together for you, and we hope you're having so much fun. And it also means the world to us that our guest is here to join us tonight. You know him from Hard Eyes, obviously, also Scare Me, Werewolves Within, A Wounded Fawn, Deep Cut, perhaps. Please welcome to the stage, Josh Ruben.
Thank you, everyone. Oh my God, look at the slasher in the front. Trey, give it up for Trey. He made that.
Trey has been texting me pictures of his costume in progress for weeks, and I am
so good.
Very impressed. It is awesome. You may have also seen Trey walking around as Art the Clown today. Yeah, that's also Trey.
He's a Trey of all trades, you know what I mean? Trey? Anyway. How about that? Sorry for all the swear words I forgot. It's been a long time. Maybe we could do about half, you know what I mean?
Obviously I just introduced you, and you'll notice that I left out a really important credit, and that is obviously Man Who Yells, Somebody Call 911, in the film. And I just wanted to ask how you dug so deep to find that character.
I started a character diary. What did he eat that day? What did he eat for 2 years?
Yeah.
And then it culminated in me just very quickly shortchanging myself, doing 3 takes, trying not to laugh. And my operator was like, this idiot.
The Jared Leto method. I love it. In all seriousness, what was it like to watch a film with the audience and see it come to life on screen?
I mean, it's kind of why I do this. I do it because I grew up watching films that, made me feel like hopefully this movie made y'all feel, just gives you the feels, the work of Joe Dante, for example. You can watch anything Joe makes. It's amazing. This is like why we do it, is to connect with you. But this is my first con. So, wow. You have been so amazing. And I was like, I'm going to get 2 fans. I was like, I'm going to have to take a video. And I was like, it's my first line.
That's awesome. When we were talking about the movie on social media, we called it sharply funny and original. And when I watch the movie, it's also it's original, and it's like an amalgamation of so many different things. Everything I felt like from Hallmark movies to like whodunit slashers. So I was wondering what kind of stuff you were pulling from, perhaps, when you were kind of envisioning what the film was going to look like.
I saw this as a challenge to legitimately make the kinds of films, the kinds of rom-coms I grew up on, like the ones I grew up on that my mom and my sister loved, mainly my sister Rachel, who's also my horror gateway. Rachel loved Pretty Woman as much as she loved Jason 6.
That's amazing.
And I was just like, I'm a Cancer, so I'm very sensitive. And 130th, no big deal, some people are feeling. And I was like, what if we could legitimately make a Nora Ephron film without shortchanging the genre? The music, like I was back there and I was like, oh, the music's really getting me again. Like, wildly, like real orchestral, the way that like the Richard Gere, Julia Roberts films used to like give us all goosebumps, or at least me, but also make an homage to Jason 6, which is my favorite Friday the 13th. So it's like, let's see if we can do that both. And
yes,
that was what this is.
Was it a challenge to balance like sincerity and satire at the same time?
It wasn't a challenge. I will say I almost had a mental breakdown when we were shooting the girls at the cafe because I was like, I don't know what this movie is. I was just like, this is the most chick flick, no offense, in the best way. I was like, I've never filmed a scene that looks like this that didn't have some problematic college humor punchline. And so I was a little nervous on that day because I was like, I'm just filming two gals just having a little chat and I'm feeling a little nervous. Why isn't there a monster in the corner? But ultimately it's great because what you have to do is cast people who don't play the joke. Like I like to say, never get caught trying to be funny. And so this cast, I mean, these are legitimately, I mean, Olivia's been in rom-coms, Mason, I mean, these are dramatic actors who are just playing it straight, and hopefully it works. How many people, who's the first time Horror Eyes watched tonight?
Wow!
How many of you are going to give 5 stars on Letterboxd? It's like it went down by like 36%. That's okay. It's not for everyone, guys. It's polarizing.
We are
Literally a chat about it going away. I was like, well, I know what you're talking about. They belong to much club.
We are contractually obligated to raise that Letterboxd score before Josh leaves.
Shut the doors. Everybody got to see the phones come out now.
Yeah, I think the cast is something that really occurred to me, especially as a fan of Scare Me and a fan of Werewolves Within. Both of those films contain such funny people in them, and it's not that this film doesn't contain funny people, but like you said, these are dramatic actors, and it feels very effortless from them, both reacting to the horror in the film as well as the funny situations. You know,
I did have to tell Devin Sawa to not slap the flies so hard on his neck because it was very funny. I was just like, what if we play it like there's a bunch of flies around? He was hitting himself too much, and I was like, that might be too goofy funny. Yeah, no, it's a tough balance, but so much of it is cast. Especially for all the filmmakers out there, your cast is going to inform tone so much, and it's music. I mean, you think about any John Carpenter film. Shout out Adrian, wherever you may be. The icons here. John Carpenter films, just as one of many examples, it's wall-to-wall score. And what do we think of when we think of Halloween beyond the iconic mask? And I'm sure you think of Jamie Lee Curtis. The music is like in our blood, right? So music with this is like, what if we could ratchet from Alan Silvestri to Harry Manfredini, and Jay Wadley was trained by Phil Glass, and so it was just like, okay, let's see what we can do. He was very happy to be so unhinged.
Yeah, the balance between comedy and horror is really interesting to me. I always think about, a lot of times I feel like the first thing we do after we scream is we laugh. There's like a sense of relief, kind of, especially if you're watching a movie with people and they catch you and you're like, all right, they got me, But I wanted to know, how editing a joke differs from editing a scare.
It's all the same DNA, right? So it's all about surprise. It's all about lulling us into a sense of normalcy, complacency, and pattern, and then injecting an irregularity.
Misdirections.
That's right. Yeah. That's right. That's why. I was about to make an example of a recent film. I don't want to spoil for anyone, but. I'll just say, anyone see Weapons?
Yes.
There's something about, and that's directed by another horror comedy, a comedy background homie, Zach Kreger, came up with The Whitest Kids You Know as a sketch group when I was coming up in the internet days, and he injects irregularity when you least expect it, and you just lulled into this pattern, but then that's like Kreger's thing, so you try to do that with horror. And what I've been trying to do is not rely on stings, on the music to do a lot of that work.
For sure.
That's such a great way to do it. But if you can do it with visuals, like The Closet is my favorite moment.
Yes.
You don't see many. It was going to be a hand under the bed, because I haven't seen a good hand under the bed moment in a minute. But I was like, The Closet reminds me of Monster Squad. And so I was just like, maybe we'll just do a little Monster Squad moment. Shout out to Fred Decker.
Yeah. You mentioned Zach Kreger. I was thinking Jordan Peele too. I mean, there does seem to be kind of this movement of people who worked in comedy moving towards horror. And I was just wondering if those similarities are why you think you're seeing these people evolve their craft in that direction.
Yeah, I think us comedians, us funny people, we're also, you hear the term wicked sense of humor. We're observationists. My first film is literally calling out the icky feeling that makes me giddy, but makes a lot of people feel strange, which is like a man being overshadowed and emasculated by an incredible genius woman. And I was like, I want to make all the men in my life feel real sick. And it's just you have to kind of have a sense of humor about it because it's a really bleak, subject, right?
Yeah.
Werewolves Within, it's masculinity.
Yeah.
In this one, it's I don't know. I think it scratches the itch of how excruciating couples in PDA are. I say that as a happily married man, but it's also like Valentine's Day makes you feel so left out, and so you feel so judged. And what if you don't? And then if you're in a relationship, you didn't get flowers. Oh my God, kill them. Isn't that funny? See?
Your answers are coming before the questions I'm asking. It's really bizarre. I was going to ask you.
It's because I'm a Cancer and I'm intuitive. Things like being born on June 30th, like being intuitive, being a filmmaker.
This is my nightmare as an Aquarius. Cursed to this life.
Aaron's over here just staring off, dreaming.
Do you
That's
think?
a deep cut, astrology.
Do you think
Woodstock,
comedy?
New York? I apologize. Go for it.
No. Do you think comedy helps an audience process horror?
Oh, totally. It's like it's the peanut butter on the medicine or whatever. If you're a dog, I don't know what that's. Yeah, it's the peanut butter on the Jeff Bridges, man. It's the peanut butter on the It makes no sense. Makes the medicine go down, Aaron. You understand?
Yes, I do understand. I used to mix when I was a kid. I would mix like NyQuil with like Diet Coke.
Wait, what? How old?
I was probably like 12 or 13, and I was
I
like,
thought your photo would still be up here. That would be incredibly slow. The picture you just like high and it's like, look at that NyQuil shot.
yeah, I thought it would help it. It would be easier, but it just prolonged the process of drinking the NyQuil. I just ended up with NyQuil flavored soda.
Did you know you would get like a hit off of it? I don't
No. I was actually sick, but I struggled with the intake of the disgusting.
And you mixed it with what?
I mixed it with Diet Coke.
Oh,
We
okay,
had
right
a
before
mouse,
bed.
no?
Okay, that makes sense.
Did a lot of robo tripping. Maybe right now, I don't know. I love Scare Me. I think people that really enjoyed the film tonight, especially if that was their first time seeing it, should go back and watch Werewolves Within and Scare Me and A Wounded Fawn. But I really love Scare Me because I'm also a writer, and the movie felt just very like an ode to storytelling in a really, really cool way. And I just wanted to know what that film means to you as the first feature that you wrote, directed, and starred in.
Oh my God! It was that was the thing that started it all. It was like I don't know. I was at a weird point in my life. It's everything. It's so cathartic to think of. When I really think about it, that was kind of an impossible thing. It's like I'm just gonna take a risk. It's literally what they talk about. Like, well, when you're down to your last $100, or when you're really down and out, and you're feeling really low, and you're like, fuck it, I'm just gonna take this risk. I literally cashed out my college humor 401k. There was really nothing in there, $25,000, and I was like, this is gonna be the starter funds for my first film. I was convinced it was gonna cost 80 grand. I was like, I'll hold the boom and be in it and shoot with my buddy Brendan, who was doing a bunch of shorts with me at the time, and that they got to Sundance, which is unheard of, and that's what started the career. And actually, by the time I got to Sundance, I showed the rough cut to the producers of Werewolves Within to just get their opinion on it. And then they had this gig, that ended up being my second movie. I think this would this would be a good comp for this movie we're doing. And I was prepping my second movie when I went to Sundance for my first one. It just doesn't happen. I can't think about it too much.
Yeah.
I was like, wait, that shouldn't be. That's dreams.
Yeah.
So it's everything. It's amazing.
Well, and Werewolves Within is such a different project because you're taking a source material, but lovingly, the source material's thin, it's a video game, so are you building this world from scratch then after Scare Me?
Kind of. What's amazing about Werewolves Within is it's an Ubisoft film. So I read the script and I was like, I got this script, and they were like, it's a video game movie, and I was like, this is going to be the worst Dune 3D. No, Dune would be amazing. This was going to be just the worst Silent Hill ripoff. And then I read it and I'm like, Mishna Wolf, her last name's Wolf, wrote a werewolf film, incredible. Wrote this script that is so arachnophobia and so Fargo and so Hot Fuzz in a way, and I was like, this is amazing. They basically, I said, what do I owe you? What do I owe Ubisoft? What do I owe the makers of this obscure kind of social deduction game? And they just said, make a good movie. And I was like, ah! So they just let me run wild,
awesome.
So yeah, it's great. The world was ours to kind of create.
Play with, yeah. Did you feel like your experience acting on A Wounded Fawn impacted your filmmaking afterwards when you were like behind the director's seat?
I was 2 movies deep before Wounded Fawn, but yes, I mean, just being an actor in general helps immensely, and having an improvisational spirit, as it were, really helps. The actors appreciate it because I speak their language in a way. I'm not over-explaining.
Yeah.
We kind of had the shorthand where on this film I was like very emotional and just like constantly teary-eyed. Like the actors were like, "Are you okay?" I was like, "But it's so beautiful because you love her, and you pull the crowbar out of his mouth." I don't know why I was so emotional. But yeah, it helps immensely. After Wounded Fawn was technically before, I landed this gig, and I don't know, after that, what I learned was, if you writhe around enough, you'll get stones lodged under your skin. So that's a spoiler for the film. You'll see. Check it out, it's on Shudder.
Definitely check it out. Do you view your filmography as like individual pieces, or do you feel like there's a thread that connects them?
I think there's a lot about, I feel like a lot of, I'm writing something right now from Mattel, actually, about masculinity. There's a lot of stuff with guys, and a lot of stuff with men, and this one, I really love that Mason plays a guy who really loves love. I think there's just not enough of that. I think we're losing, young boys and men, and especially of that gender and male-identifying folks, just because they're getting lost. There's not enough romanticism, and there's not enough chivalry, and I just liked that I made something about, a film about love, and to see a guy who's showing emotion and open with his emotions, because we live in the manosphere world, you know what I'm saying? And so each film had to do something. The first film was very toxic masculine. The second one was about, kindness. And kindness masculine. This one is about, sensitive masculine, I suppose.
Yeah,
I'm a Cancer. So.
To take it back to your casting, I was just curious because you have worked with so many very funny and talented people. I love Sam Richardson in Werewolves Within. I love Aya Cash in Scare Me. Is there a comedic actor that you haven't had the chance to work with that you'd be interested in working with in the future?
It's a great question. I'm dying to work with Justin Theroux. I think he's very funny and can, he's just kind of very open. I think Sam Rockwell is amazing. William Jackson Harper's beautiful. I don't know. There's a bunch. It's hard to think of. It's hard because when I think of them, especially the guys. Here comes back to masculinity again. What's your issue with Dad? I love Dad. But it's tough with the guys because the guys who know in Hollywood they can get something made are usually the toughest demographic.
For sure.
You're like, I'm not going to come out of my trailer. I'm just like, oh my God, how am I going to deal with that energy?
Yeah.
And I've been so fortunate to know a lot of the actors I've worked with have been just so sensitive and down, kind of wonderful. So I'm really scared about the day I get screamed at by Dave Bautista. He's probably great. Dave Bautista's great. He's just like, sit down. You know what I mean? He just palms my head like a basketball and just crushes it. And he's just like, stop welling up when you're giving me direction.
Yeah.
I need your assistance.
Your Dave Bautista impression just reminded me of something that I was going to say during my introduction. I just have to get it out. You do the best Crypt Keeper I've ever heard during Scare Me.
Come on.
Is it? Killed me. It's very, very, very good.
I don't know, it's good. Asking Aya Cash, who's like, the top of the top to do a Crypt Keeper impression, which I did in Scare Me, was just an incredible moment.
Yeah.
It's like asking Adrienne Barbeau to do her best, Tales from the Hood. You know what I'm saying? It's just a very great film, but
film we showed last year. Yeah, and we have Rusty Kundiev here. Great, fantastic person.
Adrienne, do your best leprechaun as in the film. No.
When coming up with these interview questions, you want to avoid stuff that people already ask you, but I think that this is relevant to so many people in the room probably. And so I wanted to ask, what is a piece of advice that has stuck with you as a filmmaker? Maybe even something early on that is just something that's kind of stuck in your mind.
Oh, sure. Well, you have to find people, your crew, right? You know how there's these filmmakers that work with their crew for their entire career. Scorsese and Spielberg, and he just talked about interviewing Paul Thomas Anderson about One Bottle After Another. He was just like, the second AD who we worked with for many, many years who just passed away, who was just like singing his praises. They're the people that we keep so close. And the thing that's invaluable is to find people not only that can like execute the thing, but that won't make you feel bad for an idea, that will lift you up. That's a real big thing. Really in life too, it's important. But it's like my wife and I got married, we were like, I never want to look around the wedding and be like, why did we invite Mark?
Right.
You know what I mean? So it's like you want that feeling in your creative life. You want to be able to be like, Mark has great notes and will never make me feel strange.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, absolutely.
Want to compete or want to like cut you down. What's the phrase? Like yuck your yum. So you want to find people that you feel good around, both in your life and in your creative life, and that's a huge thing. So the ones that I've kept really close, like Sam Reich, for example, who I do Dropout with, like I met Sam and Elaine, his wife, at summer camp when we all met together. And we have all, we've just been friends for so long because we've just constantly lifted each other up. Sam used to make fun, or make fun of himself, self-deprecating, because I would get all these all these little bit parts, and he'd be like, well, I guess, I'm just always going to be in competition with you, Josh. There goes Josh, get another under 5 on One Life to Live or whatever. But he ended up, owning Dropout. But we just lift each other up. So you want to find that in your creative crew and never feel like, man, I just feel like Mark is just judging me. Mark Duplass in my real life does not.
You were listing directors. I thought you were saying that they were your crew. I was so impressed. Scorsese, Spielberg, PTA, me, personal friends.
I'm not going to invite Josh. That's Marty. I think we should invite him.
When you're working on a horror film, when you're writing a script, do you think you're pulling from things that personally scare you, or do you think you're trying to tap into something that scares other people primarily? I guess the answer is both, but
it's always personal. It's always got to be what freaks you out. So it's like the more specific you can get to what stinks of you and what's specific to you, that's when you're gonna have a rad script, a rad piece. Zach Kreger made 2 films about the death of his best friend, Trevor Moore, but you never really quite feel it. He's writing about the feeling of that through all this symbolism.
Yeah.
Weapons especially, and there's just something about how beautifully it hits because it's rooted in this, specificity. So as far as scaring, it's less so that than it is like the relatability of characters. It's like, do I care about what's happening to this protagonist and how they'll get out of this problem?
for sure. Do you feel like your experiences as an improviser have impacted the way that you make films?
Oh my God. So when really it's about decisiveness, like, okay, well, we lost, the whole scene is about the truck, but the truck's not here and we have to shoot. Oh, okay. Well, let's make it about the podium. And you just have to.
Yeah.
Because the sun's going down. Like, there's totally been moments like that. Adrian was just telling me a story about working on Swamp Thing that Wes Craven directed. He was young and lovely and stretched, where every day to be like a new crew member is like in jail, or there's like, you know, whatever, an alligator ate the such and such. And he was just constantly writing. I don't think Wes Craven was a big improviser. He didn't do much of Zap Zombie Groundlings. But I think you have to have as a filmmaker is to be, don't freak out and don't show everyone how loud you can scream. You go like, okay, cool. Well, let's take those two chairs, put them together. You sit in the front, mime steering wheel, and we're gonna, or whatever it is. You just have to. So this yes and
For sure.
of DNA totally helps me.
Yeah.
It also, as an actor, when I'm freaking out internally, I can perform and pretend that I'm cool, that I'm not having a breakdown. Like the day that we shot the carousel stuff in Hard Eyes, I was like, I totally know how we're gonna cover this. And I had no idea. I was just like, actually seeing the carousel built in that park, I was like, I actually don't know how to start shooting. But maybe I was just tired, you know?
Yeah, absolutely. I got a handful more, and then I want to toss it to our audience because I'm sure that they have some really fun questions for you. You mentioned our guest for tomorrow, Adrienne Barbeau. So excited to meet her and to talk to her and to watch The Fog in here. Do you have a favorite Adrienne Barbeau film and also a favorite John Carpenter film?
Oh, I mean, Creepshow rules. Love Creepshow. I love The Fog because it's just like, it's all her, so much of her, and she just really puts her stamp on that film. I haven't seen In the Mouth of Madness in a long time, but that 4K is coming to my inbox pretty soon. Carpenter's amazing. I mean, I honestly think, I don't know, I just love how he had the most interesting casts. Like Prince of Darkness, it's like, look at this crew.
Yeah.
It's so rad.
Yeah.
I don't know, it's hard to choose. I even put on Memoirs of Invisible Man the other day, and I don't care if she knows it.
Absolutely. Prince of Darkness makes zero sense, and I love it. And I love it more for the fact that it just oozes atmosphere.
It just oozes, but you're just like, whoa, shit's dripping from the ceiling.
Yeah,
I'm into that. She doesn't have a face, so yeah. But John Carpenter's Vampires, I'll say it publicly, not worth it.
Yes, yeah, that's a tough one.
Another fellatio joke, okay. And
my podcast co-host and I, who got to speak with you earlier today, we have a great saying, which is that you can't spell good without goo. And we love goo movies. And I think The Prince of Darkness is a prime goo movie.
It's a pretty good movie. Yeah. It's pretty good. NyQuil Kid.
We need more goo movies. If you could rom-comify any horror film, what would it be?
Can you imagine Bridget Jones's diary was just filled with twisted, you know what I mean? I think Love Actually is kind of scary, just for Liam Neeson just going, she's perfect. Every day you have to be there for her. Your whole life has to love. And he's like leaning over this kid, he's like 9'6". And he's just like, every day, tell her you love her. Every day. And he's just leaning over this 3-foot child. He's gonna drum later, and he's just like, You know what I mean? Yeah. He's gonna drum to Mariah Carey later. He's like, you have to tell women every day. Just the more underlit Hammer film. Like, just, you have to. My daughter, just, oh my God, why is it going on?
Well, and what's the inverse then? What's the horror movie that desperately needs a love plot?
Oh, God. I mean, Freddy should have like a Bride of Freddy.
That is so good.
Right? Bride of Freddy.
They have been waiting so long to do something with that property. Give us Bride of Freddy.
And then Bride of Freddy versus Jason.
versus Bride of Jason also.
Versus Bride of Jason. Wow. Bride of Freddy versus Bride of Jason versus Ash.
Yes.
Versus Chucky versus Freddy. And they're all at a couples retreat.
Yes. Hollywood, listen. You know? We need this.
I'm back, bitch.
Maybe he stopped saying bitch so much because he has a bride now. And he's learned. Yeah. I love it. I love it.
I'm woke B. Yeah, I've got the ribs. There's 5 people here that are just staring at me and I'm afraid. I think what they're thinking is they're still thinking about Liam. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You have to do the bitch line every day. You have to. There's one person here who's just not, you know what I'm saying?
For sure.
I'm terrified. I'm looking around.
All right, what's a date night horror film that, besides Hard Eyes, because we just watched it, that everyone should go home and throw on with their sweetheart?
Date night one with their sweetheart. Oh man. A date night one? You know, I actually think Zach Galligan and Phoebe Cates were so sweet in Gremlins.
Yes.
And it's kind of not just a sweet one with a sweetie, but also like a nice family one. Like mom just puts a gremlin in a blender, which is almost a Christmas song. But like they're so sweet together, and even like I just watched Gremlins 2 on film at Vidiots in California. Joe Dante in person, it ruled.
I love it.
Oh my God, it's so on. So he's like, even I don't know why they let me do this. That's my Joe Dante impression. But yeah, it was amazing.
My last question before we toss it over to audience. You've done slashers, you've done the werewolf film, lots of elements of mystery, all these things. Scare Me is its own thing. I really implore people to watch that. Same with Wounded Fawn. What's like a subgenre that you would love to explore that you haven't had the opportunity to?
I would be terrified to even think about it, but I love aquatic horror, and I would be terrified to even think about it. But I haven't seen a really good one in a little bit. I have an idea. I was like, I wrote like kind of a short story. I'm like, should I just put this on Reddit? Just see if I get discovered. But yeah, I would be just because Jaws was so formative, and I'd be afraid to go in pools.
Did you see Dangerous Animals?
I didn't, but I heard it's good.
It is, yeah, it's strange. I like that it's very bonkers. It's serial killer plus shark movie, and you get the serial killer like dancing on the boat.
Yes.
Great. Yeah.
And the shark effects were cool.
Yes, yeah.
Oh, okay.
It was good. It was good. For sure.
With enough NyQuil.
Hey, with enough NyQuil, anything is a great shark
And
movie.
Diet Coke. Smash Mouth starts playing. Stop. We just freeze in place.
God.
Remember when I did the whole Liam Neeson thing? And there was that one person in the audience who was just like, it's almost like, no, I'm really honestly trying to just get a reaction.
Yeah,
It's just,
for sure.
Yeah, just one mummy. You know what I mean? It's just like,
All right, we've got microphones out in the crowd, I believe. Who has questions for our lovely guest, Josh Ruben? Let's start over here.
Oh,
What's up,
Jack of all
Trey?
trades.
Love it.
So, first of all, I really love the design of like the mask, and well, before I say all that, I'm actually an actor, so if you need anything or anybody,
You're hired.
well, back to the track. Whose idea was like to design it? Because when I was crafting and making the mask, I was like, this is an iconic mask and will be, and I love to design like the lights and everything. But whose idea was it?
It's so dope. So in the script, there was an original script where it was just like a ski mask. It was just a killer on Valentine's Day. Then the brilliant Chris Land and Michael Kennedy come aboard. They've done Freaky together, and Freaky's iconic. And they do Hard Eyes emoji mask. And then I read that and I was like, there's no way I can make that scary. And then you give it to Tony Gardner, who's our mask maker. Tony Gardner's worked on everything from Darkman, and Blob, and Chucky.
Yeah, Chucky.
And he did the freaky mask, like he's just like totally killer. And so I said, okay, so we just started looking at these renders. So it was like, okay, I want it to be yellow, and I want it to have hard eyes. And then we said, let's make the eyes irregular, and he renders them irregular. This is when I say renders, is in a computer program. And he does them in 3D, so you can see what it looked like in profile and how the light would hit it. And then we say, ooh, what if, Chris had this brilliant idea, he goes, what if it was old? What if it was aged? And he's like, ooh, and then he put blood on the mouth. And I was like, ooh, what if the blood is oxidized? Because it's been there for so long, so it looks like a routine. So it was this team effort. But it's Tony Gardner, man. I mean, working with a legend like that has made so many iconic masks. But I think this has real potential. Like, I do feel like we could put Hard Eyes in Space 10 movies from now. Yeah, so that was it.
Bride of Freddy versus Bride of Jason versus
Bride of
Hard
Hard
Eyes
Eyes.
in Space.
Totally be a Brad Hard Eyes.
So good. Forrest, yeah, I want to hear what Forrest. Let's go.
I could probably hear you scream.
So your choice to use His Girl Friday in the drive-in made me overthinking this, but I thought that I considered His Girl Friday to be kind of a little bit of an anti-romance movie, like two characters that are too cool for love, falling in love. Did you choose it as a thematic connection with Hard Eyes?
I did. Confession. I'll confess to all you now. Still never seen it. But my
It's my favorite rom-com.
So I'm gonna before maybe we make more if we do. And my editor was like, you have to do a classic one. There was a moment when we had scenes from Channing Tatum's The Vow, and it was very fun. I was like, I'm so glad we ended up with His Girl Friday. Also because it just feels spiritual. Yes, it does. I love that dynamic and what I'd seen of the clips. I'm like, see, I'm a fake. You know what I mean? But you have to fake it every day.
Everyone here.
Hi again.
Hi. Josh, you have such an amazing energy, both in person, on the screen, and you very clearly put that into the film. And that's only loose. I mainly just wanted to say that, but I do also have a question.
Thank you.
just gonna pretend like that was a precursor to the question. Are there any Easter eggs that you are particularly proud of or hope that people notice when they watch this movie?
Oh my god, that's a great question. I know, the legal department, you have to run everything by legal. And I was like, so they were like, the costumer was like, what do you want to name the cops? And I was like, oh, okay, Officer Kruger and Officer Garris. So Officer F. Kruger and Officer M. Garris. And with Kruger, I remember legal came back and went, nice try. They're like, wouldn't let me do it? Like, I was like, it couldn't be Fanny Kruger or whatever. But there is, Kruger is the name of the male cop who rolls up to Olivia, and then the other cop, his partner, is Officer Garris, named after Mick, who's directed some of my favorite horror films, including Sleepwalkers, which is rad.
Hell yeah.
He would totally come to Eerie if he hasn't already. He's awesome. He's so rad.
Noted.
Critters and Psycho 4. Come on.
Love it. Does anybody else have a question for our guest? Oh, we got one
It's
over
cold.
here.
It's cold, right? Connor. Oh my God! Oh no, Colton gave me something. Sorry, Connor just got back from college.
That's true.
That's right.
So obviously,
Every day.
this feels very reminiscent of Wes Craven's Scream, where you have kind of two people occupying the same identity. What was the biggest challenge in making the hard-ass killer feel supernatural, despite the fact it's just two people?
I didn't ever think about. Maybe I should have. I didn't think about it, the fact that it was two, but when we cast Alex McCall, he was the guy who played, he's our Nick Castle, he's the body of Paradise, he's the stunt person. I loved that Alex was slender and was like a judo guy, he was a Power Ranger, so he has this kind of almost unisex form. It could be Jordana, it could be Yozen, and I didn't really think about it. The guy who played the one they killed at the drive-in, almost a drive-thru, the McDonald's drive-thru, they killed him at the drive-thru. Valentine's Day drive-thru was gigantic. He was actually young Vin Diesel in one of the Fast and Furious movies. And I was just like, I don't care, whatever, nobody gonna care. So I probably should have, but what we did mindfully cast someone who wasn't so obviously physically one thing, if that answers your question.
Perfect, thank you.
Supernatural 2, I also never had him run. I was like, just walk by Jason, he'll get there. Maybe the partner drove him, it's just Jerry from the festival, just picking him up.
Thank you.
God bless Jerry.
Texts hard eyes, she's like, I'm in a Chevy Equinox on the corner.
I think we have one over here.
Hi. I just wanted to say that I feel so lucky that I got
I
to
see
see
you.
this
Okay.
in theaters, or in a theater setting. For
Is
the
it your first time?
Yeah.
Whoa, what'd you think?
So this is kind of like my favorite horror genre ever, and I was not gonna lie, I didn't know what to expect, so I kind of expected like a short that was kind of dumb. This was
Same.
This is amazing. I'm gonna show this. I'm in a horror club at my school, and we watch horror films and discuss them, and this is one that I'm totally gonna bring up to them.
That's so cool.
Thank you so
But
much.
I wanted to know, is there a film that when you were making this that you were really inspired by at the time, or that you just kind of kept going back to, or something that you wanted to kind of capture in this?
Yes, I wanted to capture it wasn't any one like Efron, Penny Marshall era film, or even Gary Marshall film, but I was thinking about the way that they used to shoot on the love story side of the film, called the A side. I was thinking a lot about the films that I used to see where a rom-com felt like a movie. Like My Best Friend's Wedding, which I didn't rewatch necessarily before this, but I looked at a lot of images, so I'd seen it so much. I even looked at Big. Big in a way is a rom-com, and if you look at the exterior of the restaurant, it's the same color pattern. The pink windows were totally pulled from Big. It was an era of film where there were mostly romantic era comedies. It just felt like movies, and the score was swelling, and the filming was great, and they dolly in and just would give you goosebumps, and I feel like we're losing that today. Sorry, but anyone but you just didn't give me that same feel. You know what I'm saying? So I wanted it to evoke the feeling of that. But on the horror movie side, I couldn't get, mainly because when I pitched on the movie, I wanted to give him a tool belt, I wanted to give him toys, I kind of wanted to make him scary Batman, and I never used the word Batman, but he is I desperately wanted to make a Darkman legacy sequel. He's one of my favorite, there aren't many horror superheroes, right? There's like Hellboy, and maybe that's it-ish. And I think Darkman could be, and I was like, well, I can't make Darkman, so I was gonna give this dude toys. And so I thought a lot about Jason Lives. Tommy McLaughlin's Jason, Friday the 13th Part 6. He's got a tool belt, he's got toys, and he's, it's cool. I remember being a kid and thinking, how great is that every day? So those were the two things I was pulling. Yeah.
I love it.
Oh, thank you so much.
I love Jason Lives.
Oh my God, we got. Oh, they're waving. Hi. Oh, is it just time?
Oh, time?
Nope.
Oh, quick question. Yes, we have at least an hour. Everyone's got to stay until they get 5 stars.
So, when you were a kid, did you ever imagine that you'd be doing something like this?
No, not at all. My mom would often go, he's going to be the next Jim Carrey. She would always, why did she sound like Trump? Sorry to put it. My son, he's going to be Jim Carrey, okay? When he grows up, can you believe it? What if my mom just couldn't help it, but she talked about it? I love my son. I'm Bob Ruben, can you imagine? Oh my God, can you imagine? I would watch movies like Jaws when I was so young, and also movies like An American Tail, and also Looney Tunes, and also Freddy's Nightmares, and also, every great horror movie ever edited and put on cable, and was like, well, that's great. Anyway, I'm gonna go be a programmer or whatever. Got a 950 on my SATs. Never would. No. If I think about it too much, I'll cry because I'm Cancerian. So.
Oh, I see one back there.
2. A twofer? No, 2.
I don't know if I should stand up.
Hi.
Pleasure.
So I have a question about, because one of the, hi.
I was like, oh, it's definitely gonna be over here. Oh, it's a fun game.
Misdirection.
It's okay, unassuming. Anyway, so I one of the things I really loved about this movie is the use of practical effects with the blood and the gore and everything. Do you have a method as a director for how much gore to show on screen without grossing out the audience to a Gordo type degree? You know what I'm talking about, right?
Oh yeah, there was a 4-minute version of Jordana's head cut.
Oh,
and the student was like, do we have to? And I was like, guys, it's so fun. And they were like, are you serious? Yeah, they were so upset. And I didn't get it. But now watching it, I'm like, I get it. There was just enough. Because these are the producers who did Eli Ross Thanksgiving. And that had a lot going for it. I was like, but they did it with Thanksgiving. I was like, I know, I did some intense stuff. You have to be mindful with practical effects. You really have to communicate, as the filmmakers in the room know, you have to communicate constantly with your VFX folks well in advance. Know what side you're going to shoot your stuff from. Don't change your mind on the day. They spend thousands and thousands of dollars to make this thing to be shot at certain angles. So you never want to go actually, no, I'm going to... So that's something I was quite mindful of. It was such an exciting team effort. For my makeup artist, their name was Steph, very soft-spoken, and he was from New Zealand, and he'd speak very sort of softly, and he'd say, yeah, I looked at a lot of dead animal images and videos, and we sort of realized the sort of sinews like a mustard that would get pulled when the sort of neck comes apart. And it'd be very, very violent. And the amount of blood, actually, when I was like, did you kill something? It's just the amount of blood would actually not be that. It would not be that intense, so it's a good time. I love doing it.
Thank you.
You're so welcome. Every day.
Hi. I'm curious what the editing process was for this project. Were you able to sit with the editor for the majority?